The New American Standard Bible 2020 update is now available in the large print Ultrathin reference Bible in Calfskin. So they have had this edition, large print Ultrathin, in some other different cover options available now for a while, but they have come out now with this Calfskin edition. Their 95 edition was available in years past in Calfskin, and this is a quick look at it here. And one thing you will notice when you look at both of these is that the Calfskin is definitely a different look and feel. This previous Calfskin, especially in more recent years, to me didn't seem nearly as high quality as what I think you saw in years before. Years like in the 2000s, especially the early 2000s, I think their Calfskin was really top-notch. This is more recent, and it's okay. It is an edge-line construction, but the Calfskin here almost has kind of a rubbery texture to it almost. So it is real Calfskin, but in my opinion, not the greatest quality. I've heard people saying that this new Calfskin is improved, or that it's quite nice. And I realized it really does remind me of something else, and I'm going to show you that. First, though, let's just take a quick look at the box that it comes in here. And it is a two-piece box. The back doesn't have anything printed on it, just plain white. The cover of the box gives the title, basic information, ISBN number. It is printed in China from the Lockman Foundation, and here it says it is the black calfskin leather, and that also tells you some of the features that we're going to see in this Bible. I apologize, the focus is in and out right now, and this tells you a little bit about the New American Standard Bible, and that now they have the 2020 update. So nice two-piece box. One other difference, by the way, between this one and the previous Calfskin edition is that the previous edition came in this bag here, which was kind of a nice touch, although it's not really a premium Bible. So it was a nice touch, but I think it's better to put the money, if you're going to spend the money on something as a publisher, spend the money on the cover itself and even the paper. So what does this Calfskin remind me of? Well, when I felt it, I realized it's a little bit stiffer than that other Calfskin. It's not super stiff. It is flexible, and that's because it's edge-lined. But something about it just reminded me of something, and that would actually be the calf split leather that you see from Cambridge Bibles. So here's a comparison. This is a topaz and calf split. And I think you'll see there's a lot of similarities, which actually is good news for the NASB, because the calf split at Cambridge is a really nice cover. The calf split from Cambridge tends to be in a paste down construction rather than edge lined. So it's actually a little bit stiffer than what we're seeing here with this NASB. But the leather itself seems very similar to me. And that kind of shows you they both have a similar look as well as feel. So I couldn't tell just from looking at other videos what made this better, but now I can kind of see, yeah, it is a lot more like that calf split that you get from Cambridge. The spine on these has 5 raised hubs. 3 of the hubs are kind of evenly spaced up here, and then I think these 2 are a little closer together. I don't know if you agree, but that's what it looks like to me. Lockman seems to never go with just evenly spaced hubs, I've noticed. In their older edition, they had really uneven hubs, as you can see there. So they have changed the spine a little bit from years past. And honestly, I like both. They're definitely not cookie cutter in their design. So that's kind of nice. It does tell you on the spine that it is the 2020 edition. I think that's really nice, so you know right away when you're looking at it which edition of the NASB it is. It is perimeter stitched, and there are 2 ribbons, and there's a red one and a black one. They're just straight cut on the bottom there. And I think it's actually just a single-sided ribbon, single-sided satin, so sheen just on one side, but not the other. And that's how they look on the top. Looks like a black head and tail band, and then gold gilt page edges. Done pretty nicely. So Lockman Bibles maybe aren't the cheapest, but I will say that every time I've seen a Lockman Bible, to me they just seem like they're really solidly built. And this one is no exception. When you get in here, you do have that edge line construction, and then the card, kind of a thick cardstock here, presentation page on cardstock, as well as other records, family records pages. Space for family trees there, births, deaths. I like this. They even have occasions to remember. And so those extra cardstock pages just give this Bible some extra heft. And I find that with all the Lockman Bibles that I've held, they do seem to have a nice solid feel to them, which is really nice. So you might pay a little bit more, but I do think you're getting something that will last. Here's the title page. Copyright page here is printed in China, the 2020 large print Ultrathin. Here's the table of contents. Books of the Bible listed out. Then the foreword to the NASB. Explanation of the general format, abbreviations and special markings. This will help you as you're reading different notes or you're looking at the text and you see these symbols. It will help you to know what that refers to. Then we get to the Old Testament title page. And here is the format for the NASB 2020 large print Ultrathin. It's line matched. It's at least a 10-point font. And to me, it reads even larger than that. If it is 10-point, it seems like a large 10-point. Double column paragraph format. Some people would prefer justified lines on both sides or justified edges on both sides of the paragraph. I don't mind the way that this is. I actually think it looks and reads just fine to me. If anything, one advantage of this design is that the words, I think, are spaced very, very evenly within the sentence. So that's kind of nice. It also does have center column cross references, and then on the bottom you have those extensive translator notes. The NASB is considered a very literal translation. It's also still very modern sounding for the most part. But I would also say, just looking at how this kind of looks to me when I look through it, it really appeals to the nerd in me because there's just so much information that you see here in the center column at the bottom of the page. So it is like the student Bible. As far as the paper, I don't think it's really much different than the leather text version, which is the imitation leather version I have here. I think really the inside is the same on both of these Bibles. So nothing real special about the paper, but it is good enough, in my opinion. It doesn't have too much show through. And when you get to the poetic settings in the Psalms and Proverbs, for example, that's where, if there is a ghosting problem, you'll tend to really see it here. And I don't think it's bad at all. It is a little bit noticeable, but to me, not a major issue. Then continuing through the rest of the Old Testament, when you get to the end, there's a New Testament title page. This just has a really nice look to it, in my opinion. I think 2K Denmark did a good job, as they always do. And the words of Christ are in black text. So even though this is a paragraph format, I really think that you could just use this very easily in a teaching setting. If this were on a pulpit, it would be very easy to see the text. Very easy to read this even from a little bit of a distance. And the verse numbers there are nice and bold. So in my opinion, one of the best layouts for teaching. Even though it is a paragraph format rather than verse by verse. And when you get to the end of the biblical text, you see actually, I like this, that the end of Revelation ends right at the bottom of this page. So it ends just perfectly. And then you have the topical index of the Old and New Testament. So that's some helpful information. Not necessarily the typical concordance, but I think still very useful. Actually gives kind of a little bit of definition or information about some of the words and terms that are in the Bible. Then after that, you have the introductions to the books of the Bible. And that's a paragraph just giving a little bit of background on every book in the Bible. And then you have some charts here, which are really nice. The parables of Jesus, miracles of Jesus, important events in Christ's life according to the Gospels. And then you have the map section on, looks like semi-gloss cardstock. And then the final end sheet paste down construction there. And really quite nicely done. I wouldn't say this is a premium level Bible. However, it's a solid Bible. It's a nice Bible. And I think for the price that you can get this at, if you like the NASB 2020 and you want it in that large print, ultra thin reference format with all those nice cross references and the translator notes at the bottom of the page. It's really a great format in my opinion. And now in a very nice cover. The leather text editions are also very nice if you want something a little bit more affordable. They have a lot of different cover options in this imitation leather, and it has a nice look to it. They also have the genuine leather, which is more of a stiff leather from what I can tell, but very durable and very nice looking. But if you want something that is leather, a little bit more flexible, a little higher quality than just genuine leather, this calfskin edition is a great option. So that is a look at the NASB 2020 large print ultra thin reference Bible. If you have any questions or comments about this, feel free to leave those in the comment section. But thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a Frisch Perspective.